I consider myself very intelligent when I'm not intoxicated.
Well, let me tell you what I wanted to do. When I was a little boy, this is all I wanted to do. Come on, let's do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied, whatever it is. That's all I want to do. I want to be the guy in the background that said, whatever it is. And the other part was, can't get enough of that funky stuff. And then there was a guy in the background that went, I tried. That was what I wanted to be. I wanted to be the background
like 60
hype
listen to Bushite.
I wanted to be the background hype man.
Adios, amigos.
Mm-hmm. Stay black.
I think that's my only option. I didn't know you got to choose.
Well, that skin whitener ain't working for you. You have to get the extra heavy skin whitener. Oh, forgot to put my boundaries up. If I leave them, my daughter knocks them off the table. There we go. See, she's been messing with my mic. Sorry. Let's get these vibrations high. Soak that in. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. 8 Wind is timeless. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I am the holder of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. I am your galactic daddy-o, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And the commercial is, thank you Adidas for the hat. Lurking Class. It's by the original artist, but it's the Lurking Class people. Thank you for the fine threads. And tonight we're still drinking Voodoo Ranger Golden IPA. You know, if you don't know the history, and I've told the history many times, mugs just the beer was going bad on the trip to India, so they packed it full of hops, and it survived the trip. And it has like a bitter. Like people don't like real chocolate because it's bitter. They like the Americanized Hershey's type of chocolate. And Hershey's chocolate is more sweet, but real chocolate is more bitter. And at one time in the Americas, you know, because chocolate comes from the Americas, it was money. Cocoa was money. They found 1,000-year-old jars that held cocoa. So, who we got? We got Derek. What's happening? Derek 405. Edis. Oh, thank you. James. Hey, Edis. Yes, Time Lord as well. Read my soul. Thank you for joining me. Strong discernment. Curry had the magnets on fire. Yes, they did, Derek. Hey, Starfleet. Run it up. That fight. Which fight? I watched the dude who Charo beat. I watched Harris lose again, and I was just getting done. The 5th round was like just starting on the MMA fight, so I've been watching mostly the MMA fights. I watched the game too, and just it's interesting how they do Curry's shot. Like he threw one just like this. He acted like he got fouled and just threw it over his head and it went in. So sprained his ankle pretty bad too. One dude, did you guys see the dude? Did the monitor hit him in the head? One dude dove over the table and he knocked one of the monitors down. And the monitor came down and smacked him. Y'all check that out. It did something to him. Now, I was trying to see where it was bleeding because there was no blood on his jersey. But obviously, they had his head covered unless they just put a big knot on his head and he was embarrassed to come out, which could be true. I love dark chocolate, 60 to 80%. No, at least I'll get the 90 to 95% sometimes. I'll get the true cocoa because that's what cocoa is. You know, cocoa is extremely bitter, but I'll get the like 90%. And my children like it. They'll eat it as well. Like remember the packs of little Hershey's, and you'd always get the dark chocolate one, and people didn't like them, and I just always liked them. But even those are like you know, you said 60 to 80%. Those are about 60% dark. And you should have a little bit of real chocolate every day. That is good for you as well. It is just like coffee. A little bit of coffee is good for your liver. Not all the sugars. I put sweeteners. I don't put any sugar in my stuff though. But yeah, I love dark chocolate as well. Beautiful day here. Got to spend some time with my lady friend. And it's funny how you just run into people, and like my lady friend was getting her hair done, so I knew it would take a while. It would take a while to get her hair done, so I wasn't really pressed in those regards. So I got to watching some semi-pro baseball. After the game, I got to talking to a dude. The dude was like, they had to do what I had to do. When we became over 35, we still had to play in the top league with all the young people because we just didn't have enough people our age. So we dominated for about 10 years the top semi-pro league in the area I lived in. But I talked to the guy playing baseball today, and he said that they played a younger team today and they beat them. And they wasn't younger. I mean, but he said most of his guys were 35 and up. And he said he had a couple dudes that played pro baseball and they won the state championship last year. And it's just it's an amazing thing to see because I was like, yeah, you guys are semi-pro. I'm like, you pay their umps, you pay for the field time, you're semi-pro. He's like, yeah, but they were the state champions in 35 and over last year. And this takes still at this age a lot of dedication. They have sponsors, and that's what I've talked about before, having to go hustle around, get sponsors, because after a while, my pockets was getting kind of thin, always having to pay for the tournaments because there's always a price to get in these things. You know, it goes for the reps and the gym time, of course. So we'd get sponsors, and he was saying the same thing. He said the sponsors paid for their winter baseball practice because there's a couple places around here where you can hit baseballs in the wintertime. So I know by Prince's, the Lifetime Fitness out by Prince's house has that Lifetime Fitness in Chaska. They have batting cages. That's the word I was looking for. So it was kind of cool. Hey, Starfleet, thank you for the kind words. Semi-pro baseball games are fun. Oh yeah, read my soul. I watched them. I sat in the park for about an hour and a half before she was done, but I just didn't want to have to come in town when she was done. So and we kicked it, and it's like everybody had left, and we had like the park to ourselves. That was kind of interesting and nice day just to be chilling, be outside and chilling. So that was kind of my early day, and then I took a good nap. Took a good nap today. Then my daughter, of course, came over, and she was mad because I wouldn't cook. And I'm like, "What did your mother cook for dinner?" And she told me. I was like, "Okay, I don't need to cook," but you know, children like to snack, so I had a bunch of cuties. Go get some more apples, and I'll finally get maybe something chips or something tomorrow. Just something a little extra because I'm cooking more chicken, and I'm probably going to make goulash to mix it up. My son doesn't like goulash, but I'll make chicken for him. So that's kind of the plan for tomorrow. And I think the basketball games come on at either noon or 1, so they come on fairly early tomorrow. So that's just a simple plan for tomorrow. Did want to bring something again. Pretty good. Just to show you how the different research. The different research comes with a few different names in the research. And again, I showed you the word Yahu. They call it Yani. The Yani is Yahuie. And then in this book, and this is Eight Wind Flint Eagle, and it's the book of both of Eight Wind Flint, Lord Eight Wind of Suxcan, the heroes of ancient Oxycana, which is the hilly area of northern Mexico. But in kind of where is it? Where is it? I know it's right here, so let me just look it up again. But see, in this book, they say Yaha, Yaha, Yahu, Yaha, Yani, or Yaha, Yahu. Oh, okay. Yeah. Here we go. I think this is it. Oh, yeah, it's here. So the Yahu Yahu are okay. The Yahoos, the Yanis, were a special kind of wizard with ability to fly through the air, among other capabilities. And we see two heroes or subject in this study. Lord Eight Wind Flint Eagle and Lord Eight Deer Jaguar Claw were both Yahu Yanis. Local names for these Yahus in modern Mixtec and Zapotecs are Haku Zero, and this one was got me is Negro Mantinco. Negro Mantinco, so black something. In the government, these holy men were associated with humans, markets, as well as control of the economy and tribute collection. Succinctly identifies prime heroes of codexes, Lord Eight Wind Flint Eagle as a Yahu Yani, as well as Lord Eight Deer, and this would be Eight Wind. Well, Six Monkey and Lady Six Monkey is where's Lord Four Wind. The magical abilities attributed to Yahu Yani are extensive, including being able to fly through solid rock, to fly around the canyons of the Mixtec at night while appearing as balls of light. Of the many meanings of Yahu in is comet or shooting star, and descriptions of their flight around similar to observed meteorological phenomena recorded in several parts of the world at various times. Huntington, 1977. Legends of a devil flying as a bright light from a mountain cave to another mountain in the Texas Big survive in local folklore. This is relevant. We consider the personification of meteorological phenomena, rain, lightning, thunder, by Zapotecs. These personifications appear in Codex Natal's representation of the war from heaven on pages 3 and 4. Such ideas extensive purchases among the peoples in ancient America. So just wanted to share a little bit of this, and this is him in his full eagle attire from the Codex Natal. This is actually a pretty good read of I have another book by him, and I don't know what I did with it, but this is by Lloyd Williams. But I have another book by him, and maybe he wrote the Papa Ball. I'm not sure, but there's another book. But this is tells history about these great people that is lost in time. That we had great people with great abilities, because with Eight Wind Flint Eagle, he doesn't start having children until he's damn near 70. Up until that point, he is basically, working on his Yanni skills. And then he becomes at a certain age where he does a different tradition, where he starts, becoming a lineage. And even going into, almost 100 years later, when you get into Eight Deer, there's still some kind of relationships among them. And as I've told before, they were never defeated by the Spanish. The Spanish just finally said, fuck it, we're going to quit fucking with these people because we can't beat them. And they went in there and said, just take our names, take this Cortez or these kind of names, and then we'll just let you rule this the way you've been ruling. And so that's how they did with that, people. Hey, Overstand, what's happening? Are you a good cook? If so, what's your specialty? I can pretty much cook anything. My son just asked me to make what is that? Chicken marinara? No. Chicken. I forget the chicken with the sauce, the white sauce and the noodles. He asked me to make that. He's like, why don't you make that anymore? And I kind of forgot about it. So I can cook a little bit. Ain't necessary evil. I can cook a little bit of everything. I can grill almost everything. One time I had the rotisserie outside, had the grill going. I've got a couple whole chickens, so I'm gonna cook them with the cans. Cook them with the beer cans, and stick them on there. But I didn't mess with these coals that wouldn't catch on fire for 2 hours. So I don't know if I need to take them back or what I need to do because these were some duds. There were some dud coals that wouldn't last. So, hey, Rocky, what's happening? I saw you earlier, Rocky. Yes, thank you. Chicken Alfredo. My son said, why don't you buy? I just don't like the already made Alfredo sauce. I haven't really found one that tastes good. I have a friend and she can make it homemade, but the Alfredo sauce doesn't taste the same. Like when you buy it from the store, I've had expensive brands and cheap brands and they taste the same to me. But that's what my son wants me to make. So maybe I'll make that sometime this week. But I knew I didn't have to cook today, and he still didn't eat the burger. So I ate a burger earlier, and then I just got done eating a big salad. So how do you make Alfredo sauce? I don't know how to make it, but I know you just some milk. You put milk, flour, some shit like that. I had a friend that could make it, and she told me the recipe. So some milk and flour like that. But like my daughter's godmother makes the best, so my daughter won't eat it because I don't make it good as her. But she's told me, mother's godmother's told me how you make it. It's some type of milk and flour or something like that. So, but yeah, you can make it homemade. I guess you can look up a recipe, but you can make it homemade too. But I'm not. I'm just gonna get the stuff, and he wants to eat it. My daughter, she'll be hungry if she won't eat it because she'll be over here again tomorrow. But she had a busy day. They're moving. They got a house. They're moving across the street, so it's going to be one of the easiest moves ever for them because her mother bought a house, technically kitty corner almost, and so joyful for them. Joyful for them. So yeah. Yeah, so that's what they were doing, and the mother didn't work. I guess she's working tomorrow. So yeah, and then next week is baton competition. So my daughter's going to nationals, and she's like, I hope I do well. And I said, well, you'll do well. You'll do well as just do your best. And she's like, you can't jinx me. And I'm like, telling you to do your best is not jinxing you, girl. That's what she was like. Don't jinx me. So, oh yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm joyful for them. I'm joyful for them. So yeah. She lives next to, they both live next to their best friends. My daughter's godmother, they live right there together. So her and her god sister already get on each other's nerves. So if they get on each other's nerves too much, one can separate. One can leave the scene. So I'm gonna put together, I want to get everybody to think. I'm going to put together and I want to say it first before I do it. Meditation. I'm going to have the one divineness come back on, and we're going to do a meditation. So I guess my hesitation is, so I guess I'm going to have to ask everybody's permission, and I'm going to show people how to just put a protective bubble around themselves. So I don't want anybody to feel that they're invaded, that kind of thing. Again, I've said with the awakened one, we would do a meditation, and I would like bring everybody like in the same room and stuff. And I'm like, I can't keep doing that. It's just not. I mean, if it's okay with everybody, then that's cool. But in that instance, I wouldn't even ask people. I would just kind of put them there. So I'm going to have everybody put a protective bubble around themselves so you can't be evaded. And those of you who want to participate will participate. But I wanted to say that before I did it too. Oh, the cat. It's like my eyes went woo. So, okay, necessary evil. Okay, yeah. So those that want to participate, I'm going to bring her on in a day or two, and we'll do a couple meditation practices. And a good thing too is just with your eyes closed or open, just learning to settle your mind. It's really powerful if you can learn how to trance with your eyes open, and that's what crystal balls can do. That's what mirrors can do. I mean, even the skull, technically, looking at this, you could trance with this. The field is so small would be the only hesitation, because once your concentration with your eyes come, it narrows on working space, what I call working trans space, and but it helps you, catch the illusion when you can keep your eyes open, when you can trans with your eyes open. So there's a thing called truly breaking through, where you find another blueness and another clearness through this reality. When you meditate, you can just break through, like you come across a geometric field, and then once that you get past that, you come into like another blue reality. You practice holding how long you can stay in that reality. But when you can trance with your eyes open, the beautiful thing in that is you can make that reality come while your eyes are open. It's like even sun gazing. And it was too cloudy today, but even sun gazing, at night with the moon is probably a little easier for me to express my point. Is when you're planet gazing or moon gazing, you get focused on one of the planets, but as you're trancing with the planet, if you look around, you'll start seeing the energies of the trees and the energies of the grass, and you see a almost different reality just seeing the real expressions of the trees. Now, this thing it's not easy to hold that for very long, because again, you're concentrating on the moon or the planets, and then you're trying to divert your attention away, while you're still concentrating. It's not easy. It's not easy. And but you see another reality just in that. And again, holding the reality is the challenge. Is how long can you hold the reality? Even with your eyes closed, when you break through, how long can you hold that? And that's where the true, I guess the true the true gift would come, is how long you learn to hold that, because eventually that's the kind of thing you would want to go into. I could gaze at the constellation, the moon at night. It calms me. Moon gazing's easier for me. Yeah. Hey, King Kane, thank you. Unique breed. What's happening? Yeah, yeah. So that's just why I was saying, as a possibility. I noticed when I was sun gazing, when it was going down, I was able to catch that same kind of trance, but see the true that reality that the trees really move in. Just catching that during the sunlight is out, so that it's possible to kind of hold that same thing as well. So, oh, but Derek, yeah, with Curry, I'm gonna do. I was looking at his shots, and did you notice all his shots was just swishes, and it's a way it loops that bottom net, that his shots. I would almost say, because if you notice his shot is one of the rarest. Almost every shot hardly hits the net. So it's almost like he has a separate system. It is almost like a different system operates when he shoots. So I've noticed the way it hits the net, and when the ball comes out the net, and that shows, because again, you can see swish shots being manipulated. So yeah, they had it on for him tonight. I'm surprised they made him lose, because it looks like they're going to put them out of the playoffs. Oh, and constellation gazing is wonderful too. Just following the natural pattern. I kind of love that. Most of the summer nights, I hope the mosquitoes are. I've got bug repellent too, but I hope the mosquitoes aren't as bad this summer. Some summers are pretty bad. That's why the sky riders are in the sky to kill a lot of these damn mosquitoes, because they can get terrible in this state. At one point, they called this state the state bird, the mosquitoes. It could get so bad. But that's just another way to hold a trance, to kind of connect to in some ways the universe, especially at night. In some ways the universe. Sometimes when you stargaze, it does seem like the universe opens up for you, especially like when you get like what we had Saturn. You can get almost a triangle between Saturn, Jupiter and the moon at sometimes. And sometimes Mars plays a part, but Mars is kind of further from both of them than some years. And in some years, just in the space that you'll see between, like if you see a triangle between the moon, Saturn, and Jupiter, those spaces in between seem like a great place to trans as well. Seems like a great way to kind of push your consciousness into the universe. At least for me, I found that. When I see those kind of conjunctions that are when you see the planets together like that. That's why last year was so strong when we had them lined up the way they were. And then, of course, at their peak, they try to cloud it up around here, but the energies were still released. I mean, just because they put the clouds doesn't mean that energy's not out there. For normal people that just can't visually, that just can visually see it and don't know that it's up there, yes, that might, stop your interest in it. But for the people that study this, like even on a full moon, the energy's there regardless if it's cloudy or not. So, yeah, are you still going to buy a telescope? I am guessing they're not cheap. Well, this is the problem. Telescopes aren't really supposed to be moved. And to use it effectively, I'm going to have to go somewhere else because where I live just kinds of sucks. But I think I can go over by the junior high and get a good vantage. There's a couple spots that I'm going to look at that would give me some clearness because where I live is just I'm blocked. Like when the moon at my vantage point when we get these super moons because we're having a super moon next the 27th I think the next full moon comes on. And so I'm going to get it. You can get them for like $80. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on them. But if you wanted to spend more and really get into it, you would get spend more, and it would have to not be moved. You would keep it there, cover it up for weather and whatnot, but you would pretty much keep it there. That's what my studies have shown is you want to keep these there. It makes it more precise, I guess is the word. Yep. Hey, Sybil, thank you for joining me. So I'm going to get one. Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get one too. But I've been looking to see where I want to set up to get the greatest vantage point and then where I can park and stuff too. It's got to be somewhere where I can park and it's not too far to walk. But from where I live, it's just not a good place. Hey, thank you for joining me, Sybil 8. Yeah, so I think you can get them Walmart has them, but you can get a greater Amazon has them, eBay has them. So it gives you a greater choice. I would not there's nothing really. I mean, for simple just gazing, the ones at Walmart aren't bad. Just for, not spending a whole, and they're like 50 to $80 or maybe 100. But yeah. But that's I think I'm going to get probably a cheaper one, but find a better spot where I can set up and really watch and connect. And it's quite a little follow. It's really a good follow. Even trying to see the stars and stuff in the constellations. That's why I love my star tracker. It always gives me what energies are out there because they're when you follow astrology, there's a lot of other energies out there that you can tap into. So it's not just what's given planets. There are a lot of other energies out there as well. And I don't know, I find that really stress relieving as well, the stargazing and just kind of an interest. People say, what's my interest? That's kind of my interest in some ways. Yeah, it'd be at least you can spend between 50 and $100, but you can spend up to, you can spend up to a rack. But again, if you I would say just start cheap at first to see if it's going to keep your interest. And then if you do own a home where you can keep it all the time and find the best vantage point to aim it, then you might want to spend a little more money. So those of you that I would say at first, moderately spend. And then when you find one where you just, you find that you become passionate with this, then spend a little more money, but you have to keep it there, or keep the mount there at least. But from what I'm studying, it looks like you don't want to even move it. You just want to have the equipment to keep it covered. Imagine in the wintertime, you would move it, depending where you live, though. So, where can we get a star tracker? The star tracker was just, it's an app. It's called, it is called Whoops. You're my son. He's kind of sauced. Where's this thing? But it is an app, and the app is called, not here, where is it? Not that one. Okay. Oh, it's on this one. Okay. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's just called Star Tracker. It's you can pay for one if you want, or you can get this for free, and it gives you basically this. Plays this weird music, but it will give you the clock-like movement of the planets in the constellation. I don't think there's any way to. Oh, here we go. There we go. And so I'm facing kind of southwest. Yeah, because south is really more that way. And it says this triangle is Triangulum Austral. And okay, so and here's the planets. Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter are generally pretty much in the same. And so I'll see Saturn and Jupiter come late May, I believe, because this is a little further out. Now my moon is coming from the moon is coming now from my west, my northwest. The moon is coming. Wow, how back am I going? Wow. Half hour. Wow. Power only lasted for a half hour. And what's cool is again, you can track the planets, Mars and the moon. So that would be my southwest. That's where. So the moon, it looks like, and this is what's kind of cool is you see that the moon is going into Libra, or excuse me, Gemini. The moon is going into Gemini, and then Mars. I think this would be Mars rising from Taurus into Gemini. So that's a kind of cool kind of thing to if you're feeling some kind of way to see if this has anything, and if you're connected to this, not everybody is really connected to it. But it's just another way of working with the energies that are out there. Yeah, it's you can pay more. It's free. Anyone see Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight? Um, that shit was scripted. Jake Paul. No, I didn't. Oh yeah, my son said he was waiting to see that shit. I didn't wait. Who won? I didn't see that shit. Yeah, it is. It is. I like it. It's cool for me. No, I didn't see it. When you meditate, there's a certain direction we should face. Well, it just depends. If it's just a general meditation, I normally face north. So that doesn't really. It depends if you're trying to manifest, but if you're just generally meditating, again, if you follow the directional energy, you'll get a little more push if you do move the direction of the day. Because like right now, I think tomorrow will be energies coming out the south. I think. Um, yeah, I think the South has changed. So, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. It just depends. If you need a push through your meditation and you're trying to bring in some abundance, then yeah, that could throw a possibility to get a little push of knowing the direction, the proper direction that day. But if it's just a normal meditation, it doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna lie, I said it matters. I always wondered in the days what of Pensacola, my mother would cut my hair every full moon in the days when of Pensacola, why my mother would cut my hair every full moon. I've never heard of that, Symbiotic. That seemed like that would be kind of tied into a little bit of the maybe the Samson like energy I've never heard that before. Not really sure. That's interesting. Never heard that kind of thing. Never really heard that kind of thing before. I don't know. I couldn't answer that. That is a new one to me. But that is interesting. Big hit. Funny. Kingdom Come. Kind of funny. Hey, Rosemonte, thank you for joining me. Kingdom Come. I really don't trust the moon. I really don't trust the moon. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that we just see the same side of it and we're supposed to be spinning and it's supposed to be spinning. And how come we only see the same side? That doesn't make sense. And that makes the flat plane theory makes it come more. It makes the dome thing make you understand it more. So because we should see different sides of it and not just the one side. I think the moon is reincarnation of light. I'll say this, woke. Uh Bomber kind of gets into how like you can gain energy from the sun, but all the thoughts and ideas kind of are pulled by the moon. And so that would kind of go a little bit of that of the reincarnation light. That would go a little bit with that. Um, and so yeah, or that the light of the moon would have certain light codes that you could download as well, just like the sun would have certain sun codes you could download. So yeah, uh, and that's another like I guess that would even turn into if you would like throw your consciousness through the moon. And like if you could be a neutrino and you just took your consciousness through the moon like a neutrino, like what would you gain from that compared to if you threw your consciousness through a neutrino through the sun? I mean, would you be gaining different kind of realities going through one or the other? So, hey PJ, thank you for joining me. So it could be. I mean, the moon, like if anybody slept on the ocean and why cruises are so cool, I mean, hearing that water, that is a very and feeling that magnetism of the water, that constant pull and that magnetism of it is a very soothing, makes you feel better for sure. But the sleep, it gives your consciousness that when you sleep as well. That is really interesting. It's funny this stuff's just floating around off these lights. Oh. So I mean that's but the same thing could be said like if you spend a large amount under moonlight. I mean there's some healing aspects if you stay for hours outside under the moon. Again, if you can take the bugs and ain't too bad. But it's like if you can get exposed to moonlight for a few hours, it's kind of a good thing as well. So that's something to consider. If you're not feeling well and didn't feel well in the day, and if it's, you can go outside for a long amount of time and be exposed to moonlight, that could heal you as well. So keep that in mind. It's not in the same way, like one thing about crystals is you can use the crystals differently as different planets come in. So like my crystals when Jupiter and them, because you have to remember these crystals are in most cases, tens of thousand years old. This stuff is fairly old. It takes a long time to make some of this stuff. And so this stuff has been like you take, especially when you take Numite and Shungite, some of the oldest rocks that are there. This rock has been exposed, for billions of years, been exposed to the star system. And we know that crystals react differently as exposed to each system. So as certain planets come, and there's stones for just certain planets as well. But they're going to behave a little different every time a new planetary system comes in, or even a constellation. Even as a new constellation, these will act a little differently. Uh, Not I like to hear ocean waves before I go to sleep. Very soothing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. You can record that now. You can have that off of YouTube. Do you think the corruption will be fixed by 25, like the elites and the corruption of the world? Well, it does appear the system has never been more desperate. That's why the moves they're making. It's a lot of desperate moves. I think they really feel that they need to lock people down like they did the Soviets when it was the Soviet Union. That is what it appears, everything. Now, I know a lot of propaganda is coming out of Canada, how they're supposed to start locking their people down stricter. But again, this is the same thing that was the USSR as they took over. You know, that again, like I've said last year, the lines waiting outside, that was a USSR thing. So when you see this, you have to consider that. Now they told us scarcity and everything, and then they're telling us limitation. What's the difference? You're saying, okay, these people have to wait in line, but apparently you have enough food to give everybody in line. I mean, they ain't coming there for nothing. So in the past, they got something for standing in line. But we're different kind of consumers as well. Hey, Edward, thank you for joining me. Very kind words. So the crystal's connected to your zodiac signs. Yeah, you can look up your zodiac sign and it'll tell you that a crystal, like mine is pearl. One of mine is pearl. I've never owned any pearls. I bought pearls for people, but I've never owned any. And but yeah, like people, there are people that they're it's like your birthstone. Your birthstone crystal, you know, birthstone is a birth crystal. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So just look up your birthstone. Your birthstone is a crystal. But you said to the zodiac signs, yes, certain zodiac signs also have crystals. Yeah, so you can look it up. But your zodiac sign too. Your zodiac sign, your birth is connected to a crystal. Look up your birthstone, and it would be connected to that zodiac area as well. There's an interesting YouTube series by. Oh, okay, all right, of Japan. Okay, all right. I want to push us more into the internet, and it's not working. It's the want to push us more into the internet. That's well, I mean, it's these phones. We're so connected. They are the biggest addiction is phones. That's why with my new phone, I ain't put nothing but YouTube on it. I ain't put all that stuff. I'm like, when I ain't got this other stuff, I don't even want that. You know, I watch YouTubes and do editing and stuff. But that is true. Uh, Ain't when you got Curry, Russ, Luca making playoffs. They're pushing Curry. They want him. They want him. He's a chosen one, but the they still have to put the younger players out there too. So now Murray's going to be gone, but they're already pushing Luca, or no, they're already pushing Joker to be the MVP. So now Westbrook could be the one that they don't care about. They don't really care if he makes it or not. Yeah, they don't care if he makes it or not. But Luca, they want Luca in. Yeah, Russ, they don't care about him. But Curry, they kind of want. That's why they got Curry and them got to get into the play-in because what is the play-in? 7 to 10 or something like that. So Curry will probably be in the play-in game, I would imagine. I don't think Russell is though. They don't like him that much. Luca's their guy. I think, but if you watch the narrative, it's Joker's year. I think that's what they're going to do is they're going to push Joker in MVP. Now I can't without Murray. I don't know how far they're going to get in the playoffs to have that supreme score in there. They can drop 25 to 30 every night and 50 if needed. But they're going to be hurting that way because Joker's not a score 50, 30 every night cat. But he is good at getting everybody involved. So Warriors' upcoming schedule is really easy, so I wouldn't be surprised. And that's that's in advance. They put that in advance. So that's the script of that. And you're already seeing where they're saying the NFL players, they don't want them to do the voluntary workouts because some people tested. They canceled the Twins game. One dude tested. The Twins weren't here though. The Twins were in California. And one of the 10 twins tested positive. But you know what it looked like to me? It looked like to me they doing the same stuff. They want to shut the baseball down again, shut the sports down. That's what it seems like. If you look at it, and then the things coming out of Canada doing it already with the summer coming. I mean, they did it last year technically. People they didn't want you. Today I saw here people playing in a park, playing full court basketball. The parks is all going, children riding bikes, people jogging. Matter of fact, the beer brewery here in town gave a little concert. I went out there, I heard the music, and I parked my car closer and walked over there and grooved with them, for a minute, just chilled. I've been spent a big part of the day outside, just enjoying outside. Uh, so, so it was a good vibe today. Felt really good, moving around and everything. So, and I guess it was their yearly or 2 or 3 year anniversary. I think there was their third year. And businesses, they're gonna collapse. They make it above 5 years is how it used to be. And now, businesses that survived last year are really lucky because I know several that have not come back. And these were really high class restaurants, but they couldn't do what other ones did to survive. I mean, beer, the thing with them is, you couldn't come in and drink your beer, but we can still sell you beer. So they're open to, still serve beer every day. Just couldn't drink it inside. so so that was kind of cool. I heard about people fishing and stuff because when the weather breaks, people fish. And walleye are big here. Sunfish, sunnies, bluegills, whatever you want to call them. Those, in the Midwest, you're pretty much going to find them everywhere in the Midwest. That kind of fish. Pretty common Midwest fish. Not say northern Midwest, if that's such a thing. But with lakes, people that fish, that's a big, big thing up here. That really is. I mean, even Lake Minnetonka, anybody can go put your boat anywhere. That's you can go on any of the lakes. They got public access, and you can boat the hell out of the lake. This lake down here is not big as Lake Minnetonka, but out there in that big lake, you can cruise. Just be out there, just running, cruising. My son and his friends, both his best friends, one of his housemates, they have a boat. So they have a couple boats that they would. And then yesterday they went on some kind of party bus. So up here, people are still kind of mingling around. I know other states it's a little different. So, but haven't been into too much. Didn't follow much of the testimony, the deliberations. Saturday, so everybody's took that off. But I don't know about the rioting and stuff. I imagine it's still a small force out there. So, but haven't really heard whole lot about it. So, with these pressures coming this week and next week, it's going to be a lot of pressure. It really is. And I talked about before, they brought more troops in there. I think that's what this whole thing was about too. In Brooklyn, was it Brooklyn Center? I think that was what it was all about as well. Bring more people in here under trying to help up there. So it's going to be interesting living in this part of the country. I'm a water sign, but hadn't embraced water. Was always drawn to fire. Ah, that causes steam. So there was a steam element about you too. Because I am like a wind. I'm kind of like a wind element, but the athleticism I lived in my life that takes a fire spirit, and so kind of use both of those. I mean, one of the purest things of being American for my growing up is just being able to play basketball outdoors somewhere as a young teenager, or even baseball, or even playing football. I mean, that was just the purest form of being an American. doing the continuous ball game that is in I know my DNA, using this energy that's been going on since in the Americas, especially since unscripted time. And so I know people say, well, fun times of just one point in my life. I mean, that was a really beautiful thing that doesn't even exist anymore. Children playing like that. Um, my sugar is very chalky and not shined. That's all right. Neither is this. Neither is this. Did you order it? And looking like see how low this water is. And this piece is not going to be easy to. Is it what? Now this piece is more shiny. Now this piece is shinier because it's wet, but it ain't normal this shiny. But even this piece, it's got quartzite in it, little pyrite in it. So that's what you got to look at. Like right in here is little quartzite and pyrite. So if you have this, just really look at it carefully and to see if where you can see the quartzite in it. And then you can little see pyrite in it too. So um oh, so it just depends. You can send me an email, send me a picture of it, so I could check it out. Because certain kind aren't shiny, certain kind aren't shiny. But it's seen, the ones with the pyrite and the little quartzite going through it. Those are strongest, the stronger ones. AT gaming. I need to play football again. I don't want to be watching college football. I'm 40. Wonder why I never gave it a shot. Rocky. I've said this before. My first 2 or 3 years out the league, we had um, our coach Forte. He played. He came. I forget where he came from, but they had a thing where they would have spring games against the ex players, and so the ex players could go back and play against the team. And so for 3 years, that's what I did. I went back down to North Carolina and uh, played against the college team. So it got us into it. And so I looked a couple times of playing semi-pro football in Michigan. The one time I was going to do it, I broke my foot. I've told the story before. I was playing, I was in shape, ready to play football. We were about a week from starting. I had got all my equipment, and we had a cops versus fraternity basketball game. And I had never played on a platform court before where I was mindful of it. And a ball went off the court, and I stepped, and not realizing, the court is kind of up. It's a platform court. Just rolled my foot. It actually broke it, broke my foot like that. So I didn't get to play. But yeah, that's a way to play. And rugby, I know dudes that played semi-pro rugby. Yeah, it's crazy watching that. Watching rugby is crazy. That was interesting. A young man was on the other day. We were talking about Australian rules football and people having, some head injuries, and it's. I would like a greater study of that in rugby as well to see what's the difference. Why is it the helmets? Because I know that's the key of NFL. That's the problem. It's definitely the helmets. Now I can't compare it to when people wore leather helmets, but it would seem like the leather helmet would stop the shock. That's kind of the same way because the shell can kind of amplify some ways. They've proven that with motorcycle helmets. That helmets amplify sometimes. And yes, they can you hit, but sometimes also they can amplify the hit too. So that was always an argument of without them. At times they can, and that's what we see with the pro helmets. So I wonder if they need to go back to the leather type of helmets. It's hard to say. But then again, it was times where the turf was that cheap turf, like old Franklin Field. They refused to play a preseason game. They pulled out of the game. The field was so bad, and it was literally a turf field over over plywood. Like, I mean, it was the worst kind of plywood turf field. I watched one dude. He was an LSU receiver playing for the Bears. One game he came down on that field and he tore both his patellas. And it was definitely the field. He just went up, caught a ball, he came down, blew out both his patellas. Can't think of that cat's name from that field. And I remember Baltimore refused to play on it. So these are the kind of things you got to consider as well with it. But football's a hard thing. I mean, but just sports in general. One thing they said that did humanize Curry, and I thought that was kind of cool. What they said about him, they said that one of his children didn't want to play because they didn't want to be hurt, and that's a keen observation about having parents in sports is being hurt, because you start to look and you wonder, like, what is it about my parent that gets hurt more than other people? You know, you look at it as you start going to school, have friends, but you see your father gets hurt. Yes, he does these great things at times, but at times I also see this a person that can barely walk around the house. What year did they use? They started using the leather helmets up in the probably 15 on, and they used them basically um, into the mid 50s when they switched over to the plastic. They switched over to the plastic helmet, and there was one cat. Now, face masks were put in the mid 50s as well, and then by the 60s, everybody wore face masks. But there was one dude, I think his name was Tommy McDonald. I'm thinking Tom Fears, but I think his name was Tommy McDonald. And you can see this cat in the 60s with a plastic helmet still, like 64, 65. He didn't have to wear a face mask, which went back into a game late 20s. I want to say in the NFL in the late 20s, you didn't have to wear helmets. The last dude who entered the league, and they couldn't force him to wear a helmet. I don't know if it's your league. I guess you could, but he's playing in the 20s in my NFL 50 years down there. This cat does a game-winning pitch, but he didn't wear a helmet, where everybody else was, but he didn't. And it's funny how it's the pitcher and him, he's doing the game-winning play. But it was all fixed since then. But that's when, leather helmets went until then, and then the face mask came in. And now what you see is the smaller face masks everybody doesn't want. Like before, the linemen would wear these big, heavy, long face masks. And now, the younger guys are seeing they don't need all that. They did away with the the face mask that you could customize. They wouldn't let them do that. They've kind of done it, but not to the extent it was before. Like JPP had his, and they said it was too heavy. So they quit. But I'll say this: when I first played little boy football, they gave the city gave like ex junior high equipment, because I remember when my cousin was in junior high, probably in the late 60s. Seems like I remember him wearing a leather helmet with a face mask, if I remember right. Him playing in junior high, if I remember right. And then I remember later playing little boy football, and them same helmets was given to people that didn't have equipment. Like the guy who started that kind of football in Kalamazoo, that's what he did. He went and got them, and they, the city gave up all this old. So those dudes I played with, like if you could afford a helmet, because people couldn't afford helmets. If your family could afford a helmet, you bring your own helmet. But he gave out equipment. It was the older equipment, but it was still, equipment they let people play in. Hell, I was in junior high and they gave a dude a leather helmet with the face mask. Shit, that was 75 or 76. You could still play with a leather helmet with just a face mask on it. Can you imagine that? You can imagine everybody else got on plastic helmets. You kind of at a disadvantage. But yeah, that's what they did. That's what they did. So kind of laid back tonight, everyone. Don't really have a whole lot to say. It's funny, all the fighting tonight. That was interesting. ESPN had about, I'll say about 12 matches. You watch the NFL draft, it'll probably show up on one of the spreads, and so I'll see some of it. I don't have any money on who goes where. I think that's a stupid bet. So I'm not going to bet that, but maybe just depends. If it's something better on, or I'm doing some, I'm reading. But like they had the yeah, I said that before. The young lady, I guess she transferred from Michigan to West Virginia, but she was player of the year in Michigan. She got drafted, maybe before the girl from Arizona. Yeah, she got drafted third, I think. Kelsey, I think is her name. But she's one of the girls from Benton Harbor, Michigan, where my cousin is married down there. And she's out of the program where he lives down there. He did some coaching boys and girls. But she got drafted too. So that's going to be interesting to see the WNBA because that was yesterday, day before. You know, yeah, you watch an NFL draft. Yes, you ordered it. No, okay. James, what's happening? So yeah, that's not really a big deal to me. But Rocky, you guys don't just we used to play sometime. I think shoot, I remember one Thanksgiving it didn't snow and was nice, and I played quarterback for some little junior high dudes in the backyard in my ex-wife's parents' backyard. I had them going up and down. I just play quarterback, hand it off, or give them little passes. So when I coached, I didn't have enough children. I only had about 11, 12 children when I coached freshmen. So I would wear an arm pad, make them have to block me and stuff. You know. Hey, what's happening, James? I have to I have to make the water sugar water. Oh, okay, okay. You ordered. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been of course I told the story. I ruined my original sugar, but I got some better from a guy that really told me how to do it. And so I've been working with this for 5 years. Oh, and I wanted to say this. So when I was sunning, I forgot to say this yesterday. So when I was sunning, uh, I had my arms, just in and out. But what I noticed is, and this is the thing when you wear silver, like a couple of things, like silver won't really tarnish if you wear it all the time. Like with a silver ring, if you wear it all the time, it'll pretty much stay untarnished. But it was just interesting to see as my skin glistened, I could see the silver in my skin because what silver does when you wear silver, silver goes into all your pores and cleans your pores. It will do that physically for you. Now, gold will go a little deeper, or excuse me, copper will go a little deeper, but silver will, that's what it does. But it was funny sitting there and watching my skin, as my pores was open because of the heat, and I could just see this silver gloss of my arm. It was kind of cool, and I was like, yeah, this is what it should be. Should be email. I'll put it in. Um, Yeah, I saw that. It seemed like he had a whole life that was easy. Easy. His whole life was kind of his whole life was hard. So it's sad, and you see how they take these people out. The news about him passing is more in. News. Okay, here you go. Had a brain fart for a minute. Still might have typed it wrong. Uh, they're calling it the bad boy curse. Like, whoa. Yeah, but my thought was, and I'll put it in when I descriptions if I put it in wrong. My concentration isn't where it should be. But it's sad that the news about him passing is more popular than just like when he was even just sick in bed. Even that. So that is the sad part of it all. That the news is actually more popular than what he really was. And whatever, how these people that shine and have talent. I mean, it's just a lot of people that have had that one hit and then disappeared, and it's hard for them to deal with it. Like watching the Frankie Lyman show. Really, the movie about Frankie Lyman kind of shows you that kind of thing. Even the Five Heartbeats a little bit, kind of as the shift of the years and the culture. Maybe you're not the popular thing. Um, it can be success, and what you sell your soul for can be very small. It can be a very small window. I mean, now we're seeing people selling their souls for 3 to 5 minutes. You're not even getting your full 15 anymore. So, and it's going to be more people like that. Like my man, I used to play his music. Moray was on the Breakfast Club, 55 plus 56 million views. Got another song, got over 10,000 views. Yeah, something like 10,000, no, 10 million, 10 million. I think he had another one with like 10 million views. So, but he was on the Breakfast Club, and that leads to a certain path. Because in a way, by them exposing you, they kind of vampiring on you too. It's like I'm getting a bite off this new talent. Because people forget when you shining like that, you are shining everywhere you go. And they want a piece of that. Because that's energy. The energy is really moving through this person. Like when they approached him about that and said, "You got, that." I saw almost a little envy, like almost a little envy that I heard of them even saying that. So we have to send power to that brother. We have to send power to him because it is blowing up on this thing. Is that an agreement? Is that an agreement? No, I'll say this. This is not necessarily an agreement. You don't have to sell your soul to do this. Now, these other steps and being put on these other platforms could be. Could be. So that's the temptation. But I would say no. And we've known people have been on these, been murdered and shit. People have been killed just doing this. And I could say maybe it's somewhat ritual, but again, just doing this in general, you haven't made an agreement with the me or the my, because it runs at everything like this. It has its hand and eye in everything. The way this whole thing is looked and how they want you to approach it. I mean, even people's spirituality. Um, just listening to one of the young men tonight and just looking at how they can even try to, once they see that you have a liking of a certain thing, they'll put you in an algorithm that'll bring up all these other possibilities. Say you like just one kind of vibration, but here they are, they'll show you alternative vibrations to try to, hone you in. And spirituality, I mean, I can only give advice, but I can't really tell you how you can live it because it ain't the same for everybody. And it shouldn't be um like it should be unique to everybody. To me, like people want to say free will, but to me it's like everybody's spirituality, you wouldn't really necessarily need free will because you're unique just by being you. Just by taking this vessel and moving this vessel, you are unique. So I don't need to know if you need to have free will to be that. Or have free will because you're given that already. Now you can give suggestions and say that this works for me, and maybe it'll work for you. It's like even with the crystals. I mean, there's people that won't feel anything. They just won't. I mean, they're just there's something in them that are circuited towards feeling the energy in this. Others, you'll feel it. And there are those who, the more you handle them, you will start feeling it. Might not come at once, but eventually come the more you did it. And then there's those that just think they're beautiful and want to have them because they're beautiful. And that's good enough too. Because when the stone gets bought, it has no expectation. It's made it this far, and it's like, hey, they done clean me up, and looks like I could be moving around. And you obtain it. And it's eager to see what you want with it and how it's going to be used. Because a lot of times people get this stuff and it's just put somewhere. They don't necessarily, try to make the energies fire or connect. Or even really connect with anything, anything, even your own consciousness. Are you connected in seeing your control of your own consciousness? Where you've got all them other voices turned off. Where when you just sit there, ain't nothing coming in. Nothing coming in at all. You bring it from your depths. But if you do start, stuff starts popping in, you got to erase that stuff. That's why zoo lights are so great. And these are papa lights. These are a type of zoo light. There's stronger ones than these, but they're cleansers for that kind of thing. Because that's one of the things you got to be in control of. Because it can go both ways for you. It could push the anger, or it could over push the love. Because there's those type of energies that still want to be attached, part of some type of love, and could be pushing you into something that maybe you wonder why you're attracted to it. Hey, Jeffrey, good morning. Oh, okay, it's not too late. Hey, strange times ahead. Yes, it is. 8 went up there in Minnesota. Do you guys get hundreds in the summer? Sometimes we do. Back in 14, we had something like almost 3 weeks of hundreds in June and July, or July, August. We had almost 3 weeks of hundreds. And here it's like we have so much water here that when it's that hot, it is tropical, like hot. I mean, humidity. I can smell the lake. Like I'll have my window open tonight and I can smell the lake. I live less than a mile, not if that. I live close to the lake, really close to the lake. I mean, it would take me about 15 minutes to drive over to where they have the pub. Well, not no. One access is really close, but then you gotta walk to the lake. But it's close. It's cool because you can hoop and you're like on the lake, so it's kind of cool with the way they put the hoop courts. Maybe I'll mess around with my sons and them and go up there and try to run around, see if I still got it. So yeah, in the summer times, it gets muggy. When it gets hot, it gets muggy up here, uncomfortable. Where you gotta have air, you know, hot and muggy. You still run a 4.2 in the 40s. I can't run a 3.9. My God. Yeah, Jeffrey, you still run a 4.2? Uh, I knew some mugs that could get them 4.2s. A couple people. That's how I got my 4.4. Racing against a dude could run a 4.2 because I knew he couldn't beat me by that much. But he was one of the dudes. Like most dudes, when they got a lead on me, I run them down. Not him. He was where he was so fast, I would have never caught him. But I could run fast enough to push him where he had to run to beat me. Like to stay in front of me, he had to really run. He couldn't like not if he slowed down, I would have got him, but he just stayed. But I knew if I stayed on his ass, I was gonna get a good time. And he only beat me by like a body, and I still ran a 4.4. He ran a 4.2 though, like a 4.28, something like that. Wayne. But Clarence Weathers ran like a 4.19, 4.21, something like that. He later played for Cleveland. and maybe Denver. Yeah, he was he was a little faster than Wayman. Wayman ran the 4. I think it was a 4.48, something like that. Oh, Jeffrey say he's still running all day. Yeah, my days of 4.4 is gone. But I got faster from high school. And for high school, I was running 5 flat in high school, and so I got it down. And then I was pretty regularly could get 4.4, 4.5. But I worked on it, got faster. And running hundreds got me, got my endurance. I knew I could run 440s and stuff. Takes a man to run a 440. I'm still fast. I have the same body. I have a fast metabolism. Okay. He says he can do the flash when he runs. Yeah, I haven't tried to run in a while, but it's probably good. I've been thinking about. I was before COVID. I was definitely gonna start going to the gyms to thinking about playing. So just to see, just to do something. You can get the pads now. I can make it from Connecticut to Minnesota about three minutes. Oh, there you go. Well, you beat it. My son, I think he said it took him an hour and 10 minutes to fly from Detroit. I think that's what he said, an hour and 10 minutes. Seemed like it used to take like 45, 50 minutes. And I'll tell you, I took a flight. Where did I take that flight from? Shit. I want to say one time I might have had to fly into Minnesota and we drove back to Michigan. We flew because I only flew over Lake Michigan one time. And I'm trying to remember why and where I was, where I had to fly over Lake Michigan. And I flew under one of them old 40 World War II planes with propellers in the front. Yeah, that shit was. I don't know how Hitler and them did that shit. When they riding on that shit, they look calm, and that shit had to be moving them like. But that was terrible. I didn't like riding over that lake. There's a lot of turbulence. Because you can take a train, or you can take a trolley, or you put your car. You can drive your car over Saugatuck, Michigan, and it'll take you to Kenosha. Yeah, I think Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kenosha, or where all my friends are from. I think about that in a minute. Or that's that town on Lake Michigan, or Lake Michigan, the other side, the Wisconsin side. And it'll save you. It takes about the same, but it's just you ain't gotta. It ain't expensive as flying, and you can be a little more comfortable. You can have drinks for the hours on the boat, and by the time the boat lands, you'll be sober. So just a little more comfortable. Didn't Black Rob have another hit? I don't think so. I don't remember. I can remember another video coming out, but I don't think it was a hit. And that's a lot of brothers, a lot of people out there. One hit wonders, they call them. It's almost like it's a curse in some ways because you can generate so much power but it doesn't last long. If you watch their rises, it's like doesn't last long. I was just naming some people I watch my cousin work with, and it just like people like Aretha that had did it for 50, 60 years since young teenager or older teenager up until they almost damn near died. 60s plus years of music. That's very rare. Hey Soap, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. That's rare, to have that kind of career for that long. Most people it goes fast. It was a good album, James. Okay, I never checked it out. That's interesting. He'll probably sell more now too. Yeah, he'll probably sell more now, James. You know how it go. You die, people get interest. People probably when they were saying he was sick, people were like, "Well, let me check back Rob out." So sometimes they'll give you a hit. Remember, Benny King was one of the only dudes that it was like 20 years between the hit. He's one of the only ones to have a hit in 2 different decades, something like that. The same song, that "Stand by Me." That shit was a hit in the 50s or 60s and was a hit again in the 80s by the same dude. So, Ukraine is getting serious. It is getting serious. I watched the general over there the other day, and they was looking at the front lines. Russia's doubling down, sending more in. America's helping their allies more. So it's interesting. It's interesting. now. TikTok culture and all that, just getting a chat. You always stay fly. Oh, thank you, Chanel. Thank you. Especially now and all that, just getting 5 minutes of fame, one hit of a tick trend. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think I said that last night. Now people, uh, now people only get 3 minutes of fame. And that's why I did that video on where the mom is, more cares more about being fly than being a parent, getting likes and being a parent and stuff, not paying attention to the daughters. And that's what we see in a lot of ways. These women are trying to relive their get attention girl fantasy, the new cute young girl. So, and I know a lot of when women do all this makeup, I know it don't, it's not a quick thing. Like when you do all yourself up just to take pictures, it takes a minute to get that, to do that. Only fan felt culture. Well, I mean, that's, you can see that coming. You can kind of see that coming. This thing became so hit making that you knew that was going to come, because remember, that used to be on here. At first, that kind of stuff was used to be on here. You remember when this stuff first came out? What this stuff came out in 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there, 6, 7, somewhere. When it first came out, all that stuff was on here too. It's just the last few years that less and less, and certain of it is still on here. Certain kind is still on here. I'll say that. They allow certain kind that's still on here. So that was just smart to put that in. I feel that. Hey, Derek, what's up? It's timeless. That pimp stab yourself, Tony. Why you hurt her when she bragged? Bring me in the world. Why you hurt her when she bring me in the world? That's funny. That's funny. Hey, Derek, we got to put a thing together. I got to get all the questions and look up all, because it's a lot. I came across a lot of pimps through history and lines and stuff. So girls be more masculine dudes nowadays. Yeah. So, hey, what's your thoughts on semen retention? Okay. Tell me what the benefit of me being, I'll be 60 in a couple months. What would that benefit me? Now, what they're telling you is when your testosterone is high, there's a benefit from that. But for me at my age, there wouldn't be that benefit. So when your testosterone is high, you're holding something to build up more of that testosterone. So instead of it coming out in that form, you're actually shifting that energy. So that's what they're teaching you. But for me, my testosterone is not as high as when I was 25. So for me, I wouldn't benefit that much. But I pretty much practice it too. Say that. Everywhere, not worried about females for a little. Guys jumped. Maybe not for you, but for a 20-year-old, no, all that I think, yeah, exactly. Somebody younger. Yeah, that's why, that's the only way I can answer that. Somebody younger, right. Especially if you're transmitting that energy elsewhere. Exactly. You want to, you want to burn that energy in a different way. So, yeah, and it's capturing the energies too. You actually can capture that energy. So make sure that whoever you're learning or practicing that tells you about that is go capture the energy as well. Yeah, because damn. So it's almost okay. This is going to sound corny, but this is part of this. If you can hold enough of that energy, when you go capture it, it is almost, well, okay, this part of it. I guess this is the part that makes sense. it is almost like catching a pot of gold. I guess that's the best way I could say it. You go get that energy, and when you bring all that energy back in, it is like catching the gold part. It is almost that type of glow of capturing that. So practice that as well. Practice capturing, because you are holding it in, but it's just like once it comes in, this energy's, because of your age, this energy is really burning up. So find a way of capturing that and not just letting it burn off. So capture that energy and then use it. But it's like catching gold. That's the only way I can describe it. It's that feeling of, yeah, like this. It would be like that feeling of the golden child almost. Yeah, that's probably a better way. It'd be that total feeling of that golden child, and you would feel it. It would like it'll make you feel like this. Like if those of you that can't do yoga and you cross your legs straight and you arch your back, when you would feel yourself rise, you would come up like that. You would feel yourself. It would give you that out of body feeling with that full position. Yeah, I think I've got to share that part too. So, yeah, those of you that want to do it, that's a part of way to add that. Add that too. So, didn't mean to go off on it. Santos talks about using tectonic ogamy sex to have your energy. Well, I mean, it's the part of that goes into the spiritual part of having sex is actually the symbiotic relationship between our true biologies. Like once you couple up, you link in. You also want to bring all these other energies of your aura or your magnetic fields, and you actually want to create your own magnetic field between each one of you. I mean, it really is a stronger force. I mean, and it's just not bringing in just the orgasm force, but it's truly even before the orgasm is the energy builds. You are building up. And I always talk about the spin. You are building up such a high spin together. Where these energies are colliding. And again, people want to get into chakras, and what they get very limited, because again, you could get so much energy and you see all these worlds and not just these lined up here. You would bring up all that. But like if you could do that by yourself, you would double it with a person. So you would really create all these worlds, because you would be bringing out really connecting with the original mother and the original father, and the relationship that would go to Mu, go to people in the center of the universe. That's why in the book of the Tibetan dead, when they show these positive kind of gods, all the gods are coupled. All the gods are coupled. So that's a part of how deep it can get. Was he on the show? Who was on the show? He's on the okay, you had Santos on. Okay, she had Santos on. Yeah, she said they had Santos on. That is cool. Have you checked out Kevin Sanjos? Nah, not Sly did a thing, and I ain't never checked him out. That was the first time I heard of that cat. I mean, he don't really. What was he? He ain't talking to me. So and from what I've heard, he don't be talking pimp shit. So if you ain't talking pimp stuff, I ain't got nothing good or bad. Nothing good or bad. Don't have any opinion. You see his recent vids, only fangirls. Heard a teenager today say that their grandmother was 60, and then they said that bitch is old. Heard a teenager they say that their grandmothers was 60, and they said that bitch is old. So you see, they don't give any fucks about it. Ask my grandmother, that bitch is old. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. Hey, let's let you know the day we'll give you our protective bubbles. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I will. I'll talk to her and tomorrow night when I come in, I'll find out. But yeah, we'll put it out too. Because that's just to me, that's just safe for everybody. It's just safe for everybody to even make your own or you need that. It just helps because you just really that's the thing that I think everybody should try to say that before they do. Like they had a Central Park one where everybody, and it's like shit. I wouldn't be in New York meditating around motherfuckers without being heavily protected. So to me, that's a kind of a vampiring on people. So to do one, just everybody get protected. That's all. Need to worry about making only see page. That's very disrespectful. Talk about their grandparents like that. Yeah, yeah, I can feel you, Jeffrey. I can feel you. But that's funny. That's funny. You got to look at it like that too. It just that's how they look at it. I remember being 16 and my cousin was 24, and I was like, "Damn, that motherfucker's old." It's like he holding them up because I seem like our birthdays are kind of, but his was right weeks before, and I just remember I was home, so it had to be his birthday has to be in the summertime. I got to ask him next time I talk to him when his birthday was. But I just remember when he turned 24, it's like, damn, he's 24? And he was still a young man. And like I have two cousins like that. Like he was that much older than me. And I have a girl cousin, and really my married uncle's daughter or niece. And she was of an age where we really didn't know each other. But I grew up with her sister and brother. Isn't that funny? Where she didn't really know me. I knew her parents. I knew, this is my uncle's. I called him uncle too. But we were so apart in age. And then my other cousin, like when he graduated, he left. And so he left when I was coming into my own. He kind of left. So we didn't really grow up knowing each other just because of the difference in ages and timing. Cryptocurrency worth investing in? I mean, if you have that, I I just did buy some more. So it appears I usually tell where it's at. Let's see. That's something I usually always track is gold, silver, and I track the crypto. I know I took a hit on Ford, so I don't know if they hit you annually or monthly, but they sure damn take money out my shit when the shit go down. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I haven't done this in a minute. Where am I at? Okay, good. Where's the shit? Oh, here we go. So see what the crypto closed. It's been staying, yeah. It's been 56. Yeah, it's been staying around here. It took that sharp dip about a month ago. Ethereum is at 22. Dogecoin is at 28 cents. And I mean, think if Dogecoin really takes off. Dogcoin, excuse me. It's at 28 cents. So, uh, if it takes off, I mean, even like say you buy now at 28 cents and it gets like Litecoin and be $260, there's a lot of potential there. Hmm. So, but you got to follow it. Don't just put money in it and think it's you gotta play it. Ah, okay. Gold is up. I guess I didn't pay attention. Silver went up. Let's see what asking. So silver closed 26 Friday, right? Yeah, Friday. And then gold was up 13. Wow, gold was up $13, 1,700. Gold was up to 1,900. So gold kind of took a drop because about last year, yeah, gold was up to 1,900. So gold's falling back down. But I remember gold was $900 an ounce. Wasn't that long ago. So I say all that too. I think that's a pretty decent bet too. They be sending you stupid shit. Like, no way that's possibly me. All right, since we're taking a break, I am going to read the divinations. So we are 13 platoons, 0 cartoons, 8 tunes. We are at 7 Uno, and we are at 0 day or 20 kin. So it could be 0 day or 20 kin. And that is Au, solar mind, solar lord, mastery, realization of solar body, wisdom, knowledge, ability to focus, galactic whole, ability to encompass and generate the entire cycle. The energy going into Sunday is going to be from the south. So if you want to manifest, use that southern push. And for the Toltec, which is also called Zotec, it is flower, Shiato, flower. Oh, here we go. In this card, we see a Yanni, or spiritual seeker, in alignment with the sun and his sacred task of bringing light into the darkness. We know he's devoted to the sun because he's a symbol on his chest which represents it. In his hand, he carries the reeds of Tula, capital of the Toltec, representing the clarity that is achieved by cultivating the Toitokyo, the Toltec system of art and science. In his other hand, he carries a thorn of self-sacrifice that represents the efforts, commitment of the spiritual warrior. At the top corners of the card, we see a flower and a heart, which are interchangeable representations of the spiritual illumination that the character is achieving by following the Toyoto. Finally, the symbol at the top of the number 20 is the Mesoamerican numeral system. Yeah. This, I believe, is 20. Hope, trust, and believe. Shust has two main meanings. The first one is the flowering at something that has been expected for a long time. The second meaning is the vision that comes from the heightened awareness. Actually, these two meanings are very related because cultivating heightened awareness in your life brings the flowering of what you have been seeking for so long. The blooming of your dreams in your life enhances your awareness. Overall, Shatu is a very positive card. In the first line of interpretations, the flower card is telling you that you have waited enough, but your waiting has not been passive. You have been nurturing your seed for a long time. You have watered your seed in the proper way. Now you're entering a very happy period of blooming. Make the best of it because life, its cycles are always changing. And the time of the flowering is so special moment. It is a special moment of well-being and happiness. How are you going to sustain the happiness in this flowering? How can you make the most of it? This is the second meaning. It comes to prove equilibrium in spiritual depth, that you need to handle your flowering moment in the best possible way. You need to accompany this moment of success with higher awareness that Shastro represents. When you are in the middle of that joy, live it fully, but remind yourself this will pass. The happiness and success of today does not guarantee the success of tomorrow. Ask yourself, where is this flowering coming from? How did I manage to get this magical moment? It's not a coincidence. You earned it with your dedication and two important elements that work together. Your strategic planning, your committed actions on the one hand, and your alliance with the spirit on the other. The realization is very important because it reminds you what it is that you have to do in order to succeed in your external and internal world. In your moment of joy, remember the spirit make sure that you have the time and the space to be thankful and to keep the connection with the sacred clean. This is the only way that you can balance your moment of joy, success with powerful experience of achieving heightened awareness. So do I need the wisdom and peace of silent knowledge in my life? Do I have the space and time in my life to look for the silent knowledge? Is there a silent understanding in a deeper region of my mind, beyond the constant babbling of my inner dialogue? Do I have an intuition for it? Would it be possible to immerse myself fully in a deeper awareness? How would my life change if I would spend periods of time in the silent knowledge? So those of you that can get into the 0 day, power to the people. All power to the people.
Uh, I believe the best is ETH and BTC. ADA is not bad either. Ford is working on trying to truck to compete when it should bounce back. Yeah, the Hummer's coming out, so they had to put something out to match up with the Hummer. You have to do your due diligence, like Jody once told me before about precious metals. Absolutely. Wait, you fuckers are taking breaks and getting paid. Taking breaks and shit means someone is signing checks. There you go. Thoughts on Kyrie Irving? Would you say he's compromised? It seems he's aware of who he really is. Neuro Beach. I don't know. I think he played a role. We saw, was it Kyrie that talked about the flat Earth stuff first, or was it didn't Curry do it later, but wasn't Kyrie before? It was like a role they was just playing to put him in a certain all his steps was like that. It was a role he was playing. Again, brothers is finding out they Indians, and all of a sudden you're getting the celebrity Indians getting in. And you could see the look on their faces when the natives had to bring these soul brothers in. They wasn't looking too happy. So I think he's compromised. That's why I don't pick them to win it. I don't really think they're going to win it. I don't think they're going to ever let Harding win it. So they got. I'll be completely surprised if Harding ever won it.
Harden?
Harding, yeah.
Why do you keep calling him Hardy?
Harding.
No, it's
Harden.
Harden. James Harden.
James, your mama.
James, your grandma.
So I'm not a big fan of his. And that's why I don't think they're going to do it. So I don't really have an opinion. He's not one of my favorite players. I think he's agenda driven, which all of them are agenda driven. You know, he did get his one championship, and then he played the role of that one championship. I got to win a championship by myself. You know, that's the role they gave him. I don't want to. You know, it's like the thing they say with Durant. I don't want this. That makes a lot of noise. Oh, that's how you bent my other fork. Quit bending my forks like that.
This fat ass, thick ass spoon.
Yeah, don't bend my spoons like that. I noticed you ruined one of my forks like that.
False.
No, it ain't false.
Because if it was a fork, it'd be skinny and I'd use the back.
No, you bent the shit out of it. I don't even eat out of it, but you bent the shit out of it. So I'm not a big fan of him, James. I don't know for some reason. You like that one out there. I feel like I love it. Your YouTube, man. This chat is like it's some shit's out here. Agent Smiths. I can just feel it. Of course. Smiths pop up anywhere. I mean, it's
like the niggas from Matrix?
Yeah, they pop up anywhere. And the albinos. They pop up anywhere.
What you mean the albinos?
You know, the albinos in the Matrix.
So you telling me all albino niggas are simulations?
I'm just saying they could pop up anywhere. The albino twins. You know, you'd be standing in lines at
The
Walmart.
dreadhead niggas?
Yeah, you'd be in Walmart and shit. Next thing you know, the albino twins is behind you. You're like, well, damn. So
I don't know about all that.
All kind of stuff could pop up. All kind of things could pop up like that. But yeah, he's compromised Neuro Beach. You talking productive bubble? What does that mean? Well, the simplest way I could explain it is, so I was at the Mall of America a few years ago, and it was during this time they were saying it was a target and everything. And I get in there and I start just hearing terrorism, and it's just floating all around. And so one of my things I use is called erase that. So, you know, I'm like, erase that, stop that, erase that, erase that. Well, it became too much. And so another way I could do is you can put a protective bubble around your energy. And those kind of things just bounce off.
Wait.
So it's a way of knocking off negative energies from you. It's a way of putting negative energy off you. That's what it is. They had a ghost in the Matrix. Albinos, twins. Yep. They creep up. I know. I turned it back on. No, it was albino. I turned my mic back on though. I know I turned it off. I know I turned it off, so it's back on. So Noah was albino. Interesting. Okay, man. I don't know if I've heard that before. But it's just, weird things can happen. Like you stand there in line and it's just weird things. Or you go to get in line and like it just be you and then it'd be a couple people all around you. It's like, where'd all these people come from? Like, or you go get in line, all these people. What is the possibility of everybody getting in line at the same time? Or people, a lot of people coming after you. What are those possibilities? And so we see the Smiths, like what they were calling the Karens last year was, it's the same thing, the same kind of energy. They turn into the system. They turn into the Gestapo. That's what the Gestapo created. They created that shit where mug could just come in and tell on you. Well, that looks like so and so. Do you know Jimmy Jam? Yeah, I know Jimmy Jam, and there he goes. And then you get caught chasing him. Now I turned my mic off on purpose. I didn't want to hear what he had to say. So, how true is the Matrix? The premise, though some of those premises are definitely relatable. A lot of the premises are relatable because we do live in a type of simulation. It becomes obvious. Like I was saying, why is the moon only one side of it? You see this and how do we even know there's another part of it on the back? We really can't say because we only see one perception of it. Now, I guess you can put a delayed photography on it. They say it moves, when you put the delayed photography on it. But why would you have to put a delay on it when I'm watching it? but yet you're saying every time it comes to where I can see it, I see the same thing. So that doesn't explain. That ain't explained. And I know what photography can do, but that doesn't explain it. I don't know. Don't tell me that the shit is moving that slow where I can't see it. It'll never come on the opposite side. They must know stuff we don't to make a movie. Yeah, so it applies in those kind of ways. It applies in those kind of ways. But another thing is to know too is like you energies that attract. It's like when you bump into people in the supermarkets and everywhere you go, they go. It's like your energies are kind of intertwined. And that might be the only exchange of energies you ever have with that people. But sometimes that's kind of a thing too. And for the pimps out there in the max, that's a thing too. If you're in the supermarket and you keep, with the same, it might be something going on. Not saying she's following you, but your energies keep bringing you back together. Especially if you have a thing like, let me go a different way than this person, and you still end up where they're at. Could be something going on there. You never know. You never know. It's always pimping possibilities. Oh. I talked a little bit about this yesterday, didn't I? Yeah. Nothing going on. I wrote new. Noah was albino. Noah at birth had skin as white as snow, long white hair and eyes transparent to the sun. Recent finding among the Quran scroll. Okay. I have to look that up. Never heard of that. Do you think the earth is flat? I talk about that all the time. And everything is cubed. Everything we see is cubed. All the mountains, all the dirt, the way it's all cubed. So, but one of the problems is
if you look at it as a flat plane, because that's where you really have to start. Okay, well, let's take it here. If you look at it as a flat plane, again, all that could arise on that flat plane is illusion. So that goes with everything we do live on as an illusion. Because again, the flat plane is only on top and under. There's no up and there's no down. It would be impossible. Those don't exist in a flat plane. Up and down don't exist. So the only up is on top or below. And again, the illusion could come up, but not any real structure. Everything would be an illusion. And everything is an illusion. So, but there's also a spherical, not really round, but there's more of a pistis, isn't that what a football is called? It's almost more of that kind of shape that you can see it as well. Again, this planet is a living, thinking being, so you can connect to the planet. So whichever way you connect to it, it can be. It's like we live in a planet where if the planet had to be like the Borg cube because it hit a certain part of space, our planet could do that. Our planet could turn into a Borg's cube. That's where they get this shit from. But I mean, if we hit a certain dimension or something, the planet could adapt and turn into that. And it's not that it's possible, it's happened. So it's not that it's possible, it's happened before. So our planet can be a lot of different things, but they can build illusion on top of a planet. Almost take part of its energy, almost. I mean, how this is the thing you have to think of. It's like, how close are we really to the core of all this? I mean, that can't be answered because the things that control don't really control the planet. Not like that. The real core of what is the planet, they don't control none of that. But they can build illusion on it. So it's different kind of illusions that we live on. So, and this is the thing. What it like what did the Christmas at the end, they said, you know, if everybody believes. And that's the thing, is like the true planet. Enough people would give energy to the true planet. Be it flat, be it round, be it a globe, however you looked at it. Enough people would give that energy back into that always helps too. Because the earliest name is Mu. It's the earliest name. Not Gia, it's Mu. That ain't even got to be argued. That is like one of the first thoughts of what to call all this. So there's layers upon layers. That's why all this moving and stuff. Like again, you know, talking about the first real civilization to live around the planet, around the primal waters, compared to, you know, the people that had to live on the land and the people that lived in the trees, you know, for thousands and millions of years. If these people didn't share with each other, they wouldn't even know of each other. It's like now we know, like what we call the golden cities, and these people that live in these higher vibrations that the Europeans still can't kill. They can't kill those kind of things. They can't, even these people from the future and whatever, what they call aliens, can't fuck with that. But they even get energy from. That's why this LiDAR stuff. I've talked about that many times. That's their true point of LiDAR, is to try to find all these amplifiers that are helping them. They've been buried because, you know, the world is so old. That's really why they want to, because a lot of this higher science things got them out of here. And that is an area that people can project into as well. You can project in those areas and see.
Shawana, I changed my front door yesterday to a black door. Immediately, I could feel the energy, but at night, it was so intense, I kept waking up to look at the door. So in the daytime, it was cool. Okay. But at night, get a salt lamp. If it's too black, the salt lamp will help. Get a salt lamp or a nightlight, but a salt lamp would help more than a nightlight. So if you change in the intense energy, but at night it was too intense, yeah, salt lamp would balance that out for you. And get the kind that you can dim, because like the one in my bedroom, I when I sleep, I barely have it on. During the day, it's full blast, but when I go to sleep, I want to be able to control that. I don't like that amber all night. I like black. When I sleep, I want quiet and black. Quiet and black. So try that, Shawanda. Thank you for joining, but try that. That might help you. It'll give you a little balance there. And if you ever, get to the point where, you do want the room darker, like I said, get the kind that you can adjust the brightness and see what, give you the most peace at night, to keep it on during the day. And it'll add to the energy that the black door is giving you during the day. But at night, see what intensity you need to keep it at to be comfortable. Because you could probably find that balance pretty easy. So, I mean, you might want it fully ambered up, but you might find you might want a little less. So, yeah, that's kind of an easy fix. But that's cool that you noticed it during the day. Huh. So, like, I guess another part you could look at it did this too. So, it recharged the room so much, being the first day, that the room stayed charged longer. So that's what it was. And so that's why you at night you felt it more intense, because it charged things up so much during the daytime, that and the newness of it too, that at that night the energy was still high, because it was new and everything was so charged by the new door that the energy stayed high, and you just kind of got caught into the highness of that energy. So that's all. It should actually, if you didn't even get a salt lamp, just because as the days go by, the room will adjust, so the energy won't be so intense. So that's probably what you caught too. Just caught the new door. I'm not having my soul knows what I am truly capable. Okay, well, I want you to be what you need to be, Jeffrey. You know, we give you all the support we can give you, and whatever you feel your path is, you'll get support from us. Hang something on it too. Sovereign Queen says hang something on it. Yeah, you could do that too. You could do that. Make sure it's dry. Well, I'm sure you had to dry by it now. But yeah, you could do that too. That's not bad information. You could hang something on it just to get it balanced. But that's interesting though. I wouldn't have thought that it would charge the room like that. But as I felt it, as I sat in the room with you, I was like, wow, okay. It came in really hard. And that's interesting how just something just paint that ain't really spiritual, but it just can change the whole energy. That's like you can just get any kind of things. Like even like, I could just look at this glass, and this glass just made me joyful. That it reminded me of the old milk, that got delivered, and just made me joyful. I mean, a lot of things can just give you a different kind of energy. I know that's pretty simplistic, but still, Uh, so, but that's a fun part too, as you decorating the energy that's going around when you change different things around your home. It's like I'm even getting funny with these books, because it's like I know certain books I don't want to put stuff on these books. I get so funny. I'm like, I don't want these energies to mix. Uh, I don't know if I showed this. Maybe I did, but this is hot book. It's on my damn computer thing. But even if I didn't show this is the Mayan Basilian cosmology. And if you see this pose here, it's this. See? Same pose. And I have a figure like this in my bedroom. I got to bring it out. But he, like when he tells in the beginning of the book, he studied under this cat. He studied under him. But he put a divination book out, and gets into several. It gives you the Mayan. It gives you your Mayan chart, but it gives you. Let me get to the. So he also shows called the sacred sun sign that begins 13 days, but each sun within a light pulse that has a corresponding Hertz frequency provided in the chart below is a chart containing the Hertz frequencies for the sacred sun. In the pages that follow, I provided heart frequencies on a graph so we can explore the effect and rise of frequency within the light pulse. And so this is also going with the token days, but he gives like what would be your light pulse given your birth sign. And it's something that you could program in. Let me see, there was another part of it. Light pulse. Seemed like it was yeah. But this is another way to do divinations as well, of using this energy. And so I when I was studying it, I got how to use it, but it's not an easy divination system. It takes some studying and use. Yeah. And so this gives a lot of the history um, of the Mayan calendar and just how all these energies can be used. This is one of the more recent ways of using a lot of energy he teaches. So I have to work on that too. Uh, Justice League flashes speed force. Even I had to run just like he straight up fly when my time is right. There you go. Also crazy leaving the matrix construct, like going to another dimension of Earth. I believe the multiverse. Well, again, the universe wouldn't create a multiverse. The only thing that could create a multiverse is the machine. When are the Mayans people of mixed nationalities? Well, you would go into you would really have to go into the Omen people because I have not found where the people that are called the Mayan people, where there was a big migration of those people from one place to the other. If you looked at the Omen people, they did go to these areas that was also considered Mayan. Again, when I get into him, they are still around because he got a lot of his energy. So we really don't know if it was extended or the Omen people extended their people. They can't really say. We know they lived in some of the same areas. And this is the thing too, is people moved all around the world. So people knew of other people. So I don't know if that's what you mean by multinationalities. But people did know of other people in other lands and did travel to those other lands. Now they would bring the people back. I don't know if they would bring enough people back to say that they were national people. It would have been the people in those areas. Um, where you can look at the Aztecs as people that probably came out of the Americas. They weren't central to those areas. They only had a couple years there, a couple hundred years, excuse me. They didn't have a large rule. And that's where you look at the timing and when Cortez came, because people didn't like those people. That's why they helped Cortez. They just didn't know it was the beginning of their end, too. So I'm not sure how multinational you mean, that, Derek. But not overwhelmingly, no. They would be the people that were in the Americas. Where are we at? Yeah, Jeffrey, you can get out of here. If you ran fast enough backwards, would you literally run to the past or forward? Why would you have to run? Again, I teach that. You just go into the hallway with the ribbons. I mean, if that's just your aim is just time. I mean, there's another way, and they told me don't really divulge that, but you can just go in the hallways, and if you can meet with the ribbons of time, it doesn't matter. You ain't got to really you could just turn around and walk the other way. You wouldn't really have to back up. You could really just find the center of the time now, and then find the time backwards. And you can turn around and walk backwards, or move your consciousness backwards, probably the more intelligent sounding way to say it. But yeah. So no, you wouldn't have to run backwards. You would just take your consciousness backwards. But you would have to find that now time. And it's like a ribbon, more of like a ribbon. So yeah, Jack Paul said his bodyguard Shadow had a dream he would win at 228 in R1. Jake Joseph, Paul equals 228. I got curious and searched the Bible verse 228, and Daniel 220 came out. And it was about a dream. So that's where he pulled it from. Oh, yeah. Well, the Aztecs are definitely a different people. They're definitely a different people. Yeah, the Aztecs come out of the Americas. They call it, I got the book here, Ozdel. They come from probably Arizona or Texas. But yeah, the Aztec were only in there a couple hundred years. Their first few hundred years, or the first meetings down there, they was like mercenaries. They was joining sides to fight folks. And so when Montezuma I took over to the time of Montezuma III, I think is the Montezuma that Cortez took, wasn't very long. Now, they didn't have a long reign, not like the Mayan and the Oman. The Mayans and the Oman, in a lot of ways, are again, he's probably one of the last people, or one of the, how do I want to say it? One of the, so in 600, he is still, again, in this showing you, he is still has something to do with the Omen. He is learning and getting that information from somewhere. And by just showing this, it shows that he was taught that. So he had to be, now, this cat says that he was, taught or kidnapped or some old shit. But so he still had to be part of those people to get this. Now, they don't want to say that, but they were still, they give their disappearance right around the time he was born. They say they went to 625 BC. I think they go far, the time period, they go back farther because they have steles down there that give this time, I tell every day, that goes back into the millions. But he had to be part of that in some ways. Because when you're looking at the Mayan, you're looking at the people that would be more east. And then the Aztecs took more of the upper, more of the central upper Mexico. And then you had the Toltecs that had what would be, well, more still the Pacific side, but the northern hills of Mexico. And the Aztec never conquered the Toltecs, Zotecs. They left them alone. They tried to fuck with them, but they fought their ass. So they never was conquered by the Aztecs either. They coexisted with them. The Aztecs left them the fuck alone. But them other states, that had to pay tributes and shit, they wasn't even giving tributes to these motherfuckers. They had a thing, you leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. They didn't even get tribute from the Toltecs, the Zotecs. They didn't get tribute from them. But everybody else, they decided where Cortez was giving tribute. That's what they did like. So yeah, that's he's Mayan, Olmec, both because he practiced. You don't practice the spiritual system and still not be part of it. And that thing to say that he just learned it, no, it had to still be part of the culture. It had to still be part of the culture. Is my point. Deja vu. What is deja vu? You glitch in the feeling you have been somewhere in a dream, residential. A little more than that. The matrix is pretty true on this part. Is something's been changed. Something's changed. Glitch, mistake, but something around you has changed. It's like almost a replay. They got it wrong, and so you're doing it again. And I've said this many times. I've talked about this. You had to hear me say this. You really have to study your area when they happen. I mean, they happen when you drive, which, but if you're in a room, if you're somewhere where you feel this other than driving, look to see if anything's changed around you. And I mean, really look, because it's a mistake somewhere.
And that's the thing of the moment. We don't take, we don't take in enough of the moment to really see the difference in everything. But there's something changed about the moment. So that's what deja vus are. What is having a dream? It happens. And what about speaking something or saying that will happen? It's done. Seeing the future, time travel. Well, I mean, you've put a lot of different things in there, but I mean, manifesting, properly manifesting is the same thing as speaking it happens. You properly manifest, you expect it. It's like the magicians was showing where you've got the bad timing going somewhere else and you get the good timing. I think it's season 2, episode 3, I think it is. He shows you how to bring in the good luck and expect it to happen and expect it to work the way you want it to work. So, but dreaming about the future, I mean, again, it goes into manifesting. You kind of got a gift. You kind of got a gift. I mean, what's funny is when like we dream about things that happen that ain't too cool. We kind of forget that we dreamt about them. But we tend to, when we dream about good things and they come, we're like, oh, I dreamed about that. But I mean, a lot of times we can have those bad experiences as well too. Oh, I hit the 2-hour mark. Okay, you did because yesterday. Okay. Okay. So is South Central North America older than the other side of the world? It appears like it. It appears like it. Because that's where it seems like consciousness started, was in South America, Mexico. South America, more South America than Mexico. They don't want to give you that, where consciousness started for people. And it appears like the Omen are the first people that experienced consciousness. Again, they call the Stilleys Mayan that go back counting million years ago, but it's the same system. The binary count system is they created this shit. It ain't I Chung. The binary was created by them. Yeah. It shows, that's what your soul look like. That's the wave harmonic. I've been showing this for years. You want to break down, how you would move through space-time with the correct math around you. And that's a good guide in that regard. You can put yourself into that, and you can get some movement through putting yourself into that. That's a good way to move. For those of you that can't really figure, can't really see this person move, you kind of take that kind of energy and you can press yourself into that. Might for some be able to move. You might find being able to move using that. It might be easier than conceptually, just knowing that it's just your consciousness moving on. But yeah, that's the thing is that's where it appears like consciousness for people. So it ain't no monkeys, it's none of that. It's like this is where it seems like the idea of Hanukkah comes from. And then and it can go back the other parts of the primal water and stuff, but that's a different type of consciousness. So even talking about the primal time when it was just the primal water and those beings that live from the primal water is not the same. It's consciousness, but it's like a way higher consciousness than what we have. And I'm talking about the consciousness of when, even after the tree wars, after the tree wars ended, the consciousness that came when the world was recreated after the real, those original real trees was starting to be cut down. Them old trees that became like, when they took them down. A lot of people look at the mountains, it could have been the trees too. So keep that in mind. But I'm saying in what you would call since, and not modern, but I'm just saying when, mugs started living together and as a conscious effort lived together
You know, seems like a lot of from my study, the consciousness came there. And that is just my experience. Because messing with this time walking thing, a lot of the places in the movement, yeah, it's the cats was like the Star Trek. Remember when they saw Star Trek come at the end, when they thought, the thing you couldn't let these weaker tribes see the technology, and they saw the technology. It was like almost like that. So makes you wonder who it appears like this is how this was passed. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad because I have no evil intentions towards anybody. I mean, if you feel some healing in my words, thank you very much. I saw that some can't change. You've seen them. I'll think about that in a second. Well, I'm glad that you feel healing out of that. When you say consciousness, you mean spirit, or is it something else? No, that's what Hanukkah is. Hanukkah is just the pure consciousness. Again, we talking about movement and measure. And that goes into the time walkers, where time walks on light. Time is before light. These ribbons lasted before all this. And once and it's like that almost. It's like once the consciousness starts moving, gets counted. Not just in a stasis. Once thoughts start coming, that's when the time starts. So when the thoughts start coming, one movement, one measure. Let's take it to the primordial. When these thoughts come, they get counted. There are beings that stay in stasis. They don't want to be counted. They don't want to evolve consciousness. They want to just be in stasis. But when it starts thinking, we on the ass. And that's what the machine hates. Machine hates that. Machine can't stay in stasis. This machine constantly is thinking. And that's our advantage over it. Because sometimes we can do stasis. Stasius. That's interesting, Jeffrey. You still weren't able to change things. So you're saying you went into it knowing and you couldn't change it. That's what I'm hearing. You went into it knowing and you still couldn't change it. That's interesting. So that's my meaning of when I say what consciousness is. Mike Tyson was wrestling 3 days ago. Crazy. Funny. LeBron's and Curry done within chips. I don't think LeBron is done. I think they're gonna. I don't know. I'm kind of pulling. I'm seeing the story of Philadelphia being a good story. Curry just passed Wilt, so that's keeping Wilt's energy out there. The Sixers just showed when the Sixer game was on the other day, they showed Wilt. So I'm really looking for that. And Wilt played with the Lakers too, so wouldn't surprise me if it's because I was saying Utah, but I'm looking at the way the script is going with Mitchell getting hurt. I don't know. Phoenix is going to be, I think, kicked out the way that the Clippers was last year. I think that's how they're going to do Phoenix in the playoffs. And LA, them guys are going to get healthy, and LA should go through another one. We'll see. Maybe it's Philadelphia, but I think those two will fit. I think Curry might be done. I really do. But they're going to keep his popularity high. It's like Chris Paul. Curry is going to become Chris Paul, is what I'm looking like. They still want to use him to get rid of big men. They're still going to basket manipulate all these players. Like I heard somebody talking about Trae Young, and there's like Trae Young can't do the shooting and stuff. And without basket manipulation, Trae Young would not be in the league. A lot of these dudes wouldn't be in the league. If they let these dudes how they truly shoot, a lot of these dudes wouldn't be in the league. You definitely couldn't have brought Luca over here without basket manipulation. Ginobili and them got a lot of foul calls too, which I started calling the what was his name? Karl Malone. That was the most got fouled dude in the history of the league. Time you turned around, he was shooting free throws. They used to start the game with Karl Malone to get 3 or 4 free throws. Let's get these out the way. Carl, come, you know you're going to get 4 or 5. Come on, Carl. Get these free throws out the way because we're going to get them to you. I want to see Warriors versus Sixers. Simmons versus, it's like a fact. Something going to happen. Interesting. You saying South America is the start of consciousness in humans? That's where my studies have found that's the area. Yeah. I've told before, and maybe you have never heard the story. Again, I've been birthed in several ways. I've been birthed living with the trees, with the water trees. That was one reality. Living in Brahma's tears, being the Monkey King, but also the reality of being born from a cave. And that's the way it appeared like part of consciousness was born in South America, was being born out of a cave. And I remember every feeling of being born through the cave and then coming out, and all the people looked like just all black, big heads, regular arms and bodies, but everything looked alike, and they were just everywhere. These beings was everywhere, and every morning there were 2 suns. And this was the only time the beings reacted. Was every morning when the 2 suns came. They called the one the bringer of the sun and the sun. It seemed like the fractals was downloaded, and that would be the only time all these beings would react, as everybody would stand up and bring that in. But other than that, I was just with me and one dude, and we found this mountain, or not mountain, maybe a hill, and then we found these caves near the hill, and so me and him went into the caves, and when we came out, it was like civilization. It was like that quick. These beings disappeared and turned into civilization. Seemed like that quick. And the only other person that had said something close was Brother Sanchez. He said something kind of close. I was like, somebody else kind of got it. So that is the way consciousness was put into it too. It was like almost overnight. Now, another way too is older, well, not even older, but a different part of them being with them. I guess that's a different path. It's I want to get this out too. From a like a what's the correct word? From like just the depth of hearing like just even a sound, because sound will be counted as well. If you could just even start from that point of just a sound, and how even a sound could turn into color, which also could turn into a type of triangular numbers, which also could turn into civilization. I mean, there's a couple different things that can spark the movements. And that's why I talk to divination, with how the triangular numbers are the same way as doing divinations with the sister graphs and the type of judges, because it's putting your ideas and letting your ideas live. That's the part of divination, and I can't even say that. That's a part of divination that even explaining numbers doesn't give you, because there's a part of divination that can actually make the idea live. And in the gematry doesn't really do that. The gematry can only react once the message is put out. Do you dig? It can only respond. It isn't, and it responds as, okay, this is the story today, and this is the underlying, and then this is the possibility of tomorrow.
where the divination can say, okay, this is how tomorrow was here, this is how tomorrow was here, this is how tomorrow was here, this is how tomorrow was here. Now, which one do you want to plug into? That's where divination can take you a step further. Or it can say, okay, put this idea, live here, here, live here. We filter it, and then this is more than likely what it is. But it makes your ideas live instead of just, going through these numbers and saying the probability that these numbers are going to turn around in a similar way. You can actually have real events. So it's where divination has an advantage, I think. Situation aware. Okay, that's cool. Have you ever been? No, not physical sense. No, I've never physically been down there. 8 out of 9, real Adley. How do you travel or fly? The me or the my? 8 wind. In 9 out of 10 realities, how do you travel or fight? The me or the my? Like the way we're doing it now, my personal um should I say this? Well, there are many of us. Okay, I guess I could put it like this. There are many of us that have been put in a situation where uh, our part of our reality is to try to save the world. It's very common. It's very common where you hit a certain level, like, why am I here? And that's a very common answer. So, like you said, on all these realities, you have to deal with the one you're at now, and the one you're at now, you have to fight it the best way you can. And even like we saw Neo living inside of the thing, even in living inside of the thing, you have to fight it however you can. By even saying that it exists helps people fight it, because for most people, no one has any idea about this thing. Where Ascension's work's been back like in the what 40s, 50s, that tries to tell you before this shit even exists. He's giving these terms out of the nano. So it wasn't a super big supercomputer like Jeffrey knows what's the supercomputer that Batman fought. Not that thing. No, it's always said from the beginning, it's nano things. It's a nano kind of thing. It's little. It's like Marduk was a little elf dude, and these things are nano things from the beginning. Their building blocks was nano. That went into the American God's technology God. But it also being that could give these visions and stuff to Tesla, Edison, and it's feeding these people. Ford, Benz, Carl Benz in Germany, they were all getting fed this stuff from this thing. The same way with the Wright brothers. Shit, I told the story before. The Wright brothers didn't take $1 million to build some shit that could fly with a motor. I watched some shit about 10 years ago or longer, maybe it's a little longer, but they had $1 million with all the schematics, all the blueprints, could not make a machine to fly. Even with a damn car giving it a boost. Because, the Wright brothers kind of slingshot it. And it would glide for a minute, and then the little engine would take over. So each individual has their own thing of fighting the thing. Because as individuals, the way we win is when we don't succumb to it. When we don't go into the light and we quit feeding it and we quit playing this game of just, going around the ring. That's how we fight this thing. We know its name, we know its intention. As long as we know its name, that's the Rumpelstiltskin. As long as you know the God's name, you will have a little power over it. And so, whatever my mission is, I got that name out of there. That thing is known now. I've been talking about this for what, 4 years now. Maybe going on 4 years. So we know its name. So that's how we can fight it. One voice at a time, one recognition, at a time. If the people of Minnesota fight the military and the people win, do you think it will start the fall of reality? Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it goes into, will the army kill the people? That's what it goes to.
or would the army turn around? Because this could be a state that could easily be taken over, easily. And that succession shit, the people should do it. I mean, really, that's kind of what the goal should be, is succeed. I mean, we are a country. We should go back to individual countries. That would be best for the people if we went back to individual countries and are truly people led, not rich people, because that would have to be defeated as well. But will the military kill millions of people? Tiananmen Square will we have that? Because I'm getting the feeling is what's about to happen is going to be equal to Tiananmen Square. And those peoples, they was wilding at first. They was running around, kissing on each other and shit that you could never do. And they went in there, and I got a friend that was over there. Yeah. And there was people getting fucked up over there. And the Chinese don't want to tell you they cold blooded, but the people back them is cold blooded. Because communism is backed by one group of people. Come on, we've talked about it many times. I ain't got to say the name. Give them energy. But they run that shit. The same people run Russia, run China. It's one group. And that one group said, you know what? In the communist system, we can just kill these motherfuckers and we can put the press out so nobody can report it. And the motherfuckers we don't kill, we can lock them up forever. Beat them and whatever. And the world will forget. That's one thing these people know, that if you take it out of the people's interests and out of the people's face every day, in a few weeks, I mean, just think of how they did last year. When the Floyd shit was going on, everybody forgot about COVID. The TV found out it was more money showing Floyd than showing the disease. So for those weeks, that's all you saw. It's like it went away. But as soon as it got under control, they went right back to the same channel. So it was dead for about 3 weeks. And they went, well, now that's under control. So it's like they make you forget, and you'll forget. I mean, if millions got killed in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and it was only talked about for a month, don't you know after that month, when it was talked about less and less and less, within 6 months, wouldn't be even mentioned anymore. It would almost be like it would almost be like this, the thing people shouldn't discuss. We don't talk about that bad thing anymore. That's how people react. Well, that was so bad, we won't even talk about it anymore because that was really bad. So we're not going to talk about it. That's how we are. That's how society is. They quit talking about it. That really bad thing. They're sorry. The military was under so much stress that they just couldn't help it. They just wiped out 1 million. The people were very upset and hitting them upside the head with rocks and shit. And so we just had to bomb and missile them, napalm a few. But, we're sorry. It was an accident. He meant to hit him with a water bomb, but he napalmed. So we're sorry about that. We're sorry we had to flamethrower a few, and we grenaded a few, bazookaed a few, and droned a few. And once the military would tell you they're sorry, it would go away. It would go away just like that. It would go away. Nah, never, Derek. United States would make sure that didn't happen. Yep. Dark Shield's worse than Thanos. He wanted the ant-life equation. He wanted total death of the universe to start over an image almost like Lucifer. Interesting. Oh, wow. Acrons. I don't think so. I think it might be the other way around. But the British run Iran. So I don't know if they would let them mostly Germans and Polish people, Eastern Bloc people blow up their thing, because Iran still is in the British hands. I don't think they not. They still work with them. It's all a lie. It's all a sham. So, well, I think I'm gonna call it a night, guys. It's pretty late, and tomorrow I really don't have any date. But I'm gonna get up by noon, watch the ball game. So, thank you for all joining me tonight. I appreciate it. It's really cool. Um, Anytime get the interest, the hero man. I appreciate all the subscribers. I appreciate all the likes that people are so nice to give me. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. The energy. Thank you for bringing the energy. So I'll let everybody know, because tomorrow's my last night show, but I'll be back tomorrow. Um, but I'll let everybody know what day we'll do the um, meditating session. And so again, for those who participate, I probably will put just a confirmation that it's okay. So that's better too. So like put one for all the people that want to participate, put one in. So, but then I'll show everybody how to do the bubbles. It's really easy to do a protective bubble. You can use it now. I mean, it's simple as really just thinking about it. I mean, it is a process of cancel that. That's what I use. I'm sorry to say that earlier, but you just cancel that, cancel that, cancel that. And when there's too many cancels, that you just like put the bubble around yourself. And so you put all that information or all that energy that was to cancel that, and you just put it as it's just a continuing like field of cancel that. Maybe that's easier to understand. So you go from you physically having to just, block shots, block, block, to just creating all that energy that's just constantly blocking for you. So you ain't even got to do it anymore. You just bring that energy up around you, and it does it. And then you dissolve it. When you're done, you dissolve it. You can cleanse yourself or take a shower, however you want to do. But yeah, you can dissolve it because you don't need it all the time. So, well, guys, it's been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. Aidwind is timeless, and as you know, I always do Eshan's poem. So I'm not a New York rapper or a LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Till we meet again. Oh, and I know I missed the part about pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. I know I missed that part. Till we meet again.